Hi. Does your child have trouble with talking on and on about an area of interest and not stopping to give anybody else a chance to talk? This is a common problem for kids on the autism spectrum and sometimes for other kids who aren't on the autism spectrum, such as maybe a child with ADHD or just someone who loves to talk. So what will happen is for a lot of kids on the autism spectrum, they will be so excited about something that they're interested in, and they also will lack perspective about whether somebody else would be as interested in that topic as they would be. So they'll talk about it and talk about it and talk about it, and then they'll often bore the other person who would like a chance to interact with the child or have their turn to talk about something that they're interested in. And this causes some problems with social acceptance and rejection issues. So what I want to do is just go over a quick method that you can use with your child to help them learn to give someone else a turn to talk. And that is, we want to get kids to work on the idea of having a pause in their conversation. And it's easy to teach them this concept because almost all kids from a remote control or from a video game know about the idea of pausing. And so we can capitalize on that knowledge and let them know that whenever they're talking to someone, after they say one or two sentences, that they need to take a brief pause. We can use the concept of a pause in other ways, such as if they want to have a turn when someone else is talking, is that they want to wait for a pause and then they can comment on what the other person is saying, or maybe ask a question, or maybe change the subject, although we have to kind of help them know when the right time is to do that. But what they want to do in terms of their own conversation is, let's say they have a topic that they're really interested in, maybe it's sharks, and they are talking to someone else about some sharks that they know something about, and they may even have a great deal of knowledge about that particular subject. But after they say their first one or two sentences about the shark, they want to take a pause. That gives the other person a chance to respond or to ask a question, or maybe gently change the subject, or not so gently, depending on who the listener is. But it gives the other person a way to interact with the child, which the other person will want. And what the speaking child will want is that they'll want whatever they're saying to be well received, because a lot of kids, they really want friendship and they don't understand why they're getting some of that social rejection. So this gives them the chance to have a little more interaction. And I think the best way to work on this is to practice. So it doesn't really work very well just to tell your child a strategy and then forget about it, move on. What would really work is to have them practice, say, with you or with other people in the family, maybe even with a friend, and especially on a topic that they're really interested in, because that's going to be the one that they're more prone to kind of talk excessively about. And so you might have them bring up their favorite topic of conversation. Maybe it's a video game they're into, or something they've developed a lot of knowledge about, and just have them practice saying one or two sentences and taking a pause. And then you as the listener maybe would nod or make a comment or maybe ask a question, and then they would say another couple of sentences and take a pause. You could even practice this by playing a ball game back and forth. So the child will say one or two sentences while they're holding onto the ball, and then they'll throw the ball to the person they're practicing with, and then the person they're practicing with will respond in some way to what the child has just said, and then they'll throw the ball back. The child will say one or two sentences and then throw the ball to the listener while they're pausing. And so it's just a technique to start to try to build some interaction into the communication instead of having it be one-sided. Because one-sided communication doesn't end up working too well in terms of building relationships and developing friendships. And that's often what the child is looking for. They just don't realize that their communication style might be driving people away. Or if they do realize it, they don't really know how to fix it. Something else you can add into this strategy is you might try a little video modeling. And that is when your child is doing it correctly, say practicing, pausing, and after every sentence or two, you could video it on your phone if you have that, or other video camera, and then have the child watch themselves being successful. That has some evidence in the literature that that can be an effective strategy for working on social skills for kids. But just remember, you want to do a video only of them being successful. I don't recommend, say, taking a video of them talking on and on and on, and then contrasting that with one where they're being successful, just because I'd be a little concerned that the video of them talking on and on might end up sort of reinforcing that behavior. So the research-based evidence goes towards them seeing themselves being successful, handling it well, in terms of that being a strategy to use. All right, well, give it a try. Let me know if that works. My name is Barbara Lester, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I have almost 30 years of experience working with children and adolescents, and hope you'll stop by again. If you're interested in these kinds of things, you can subscribe to my channel. So thanks for stopping by today.